What would happen if a nuclear attack happened tonight? When you no longer have time to prepare, these are the 5 foods you need to stockpile first. You won't go out to buy more. You will use what you already have. And that's when you realize most of the food in your kitchen needs to be cooked, needs water, needs time. But in that situation, you have none of those. This is not a small problem. This is the difference between having food and having something that keeps you going. And item number 1 on this list is something you will notice from the very first day if you don't have it. Watch the full video because you won't realize what you're missing until you actually need it. 5. Iodized salt, the silent stabilizer. The smallest thing, but the one that makes you collapse the fastest if it's missing. Salt is not for flavor. Salt is what keeps your nervous system functioning, keeps your muscles responding on time, keeps your body from drifting out of stability. You may have enough food, enough calories, but without salt, especially iodine, you don't just get weaker. You start losing control from within without realizing it. And that's the most dangerous part. You don't collapse immediately. You collapse slowly, very quietly. Shelf life is nearly unlimited. Salt can last for decades without spoiling, without degrading. But there is a detail few people know. Salt doesn't go bad. But the iodine in salt can gradually decrease over time if you store it incorrectly. Just leaving salt in a humid environment, opening it frequently, or placing it near heat will cause the iodine level to decline without you realizing it. The salt is still there, still white, still looks the same, but its true survival value has changed. This is the kind of loss you cannot see until your body starts to react. The role of iodized salt is not about taste, it is about systems. It maintains electrolytes, the thing that controls nerve signals, muscle function, and your body's ability to retain water. It is directly connected to the thyroid, the center that regulates your body's energy. You may eat a lot, but if this system is unstable, you cannot use energy efficiently. It's not about what you eat, it's about whether your body can process it. The consequences of deficiency do not come immediately, and that is exactly the trap. You don't feel hungry. You don't notice it. You just feel more tired, slightly dizzy, your reflexes slow down, your mind becomes foggy. You think you're just low on energy. No. You are losing control of your body little by little. There is something few people know. Even a slight electrolyte imbalance is enough to slow your reflexes and reduce your ability to make decisions. In many prolonged blackout situations, people don't collapse because of a lack of food, but because their bodies can no longer maintain stability. You are not lacking energy. You are lacking the ability to use that energy. And when that happens, every decision you make becomes slower, more wrong, while you don't even realize you are wrong. Storage is where most people become careless. They think salt doesn't go bad, so it can be kept anywhere. But the issue is not the salt, it is the iodine. You should not keep salt in paper containers for too long, not open it repeatedly, and not place it near the stove or areas with moisture. The best option is to transfer it into an airtight container, keep it dry, and store it in a cool, stable place. A lesser-known detail. Humidity does not spoil salt, but it reduces iodine, the part you actually need. This creates a very dangerous illusion. You think you still have it, but in reality, you have already lost the most important part. The practical use of salt in a crisis is completely different from normal. It is no longer a seasoning, but a survival tool. You can mix a simple electrolyte solution with water, salt, and a bit of sugar to keep your body stable during dehydration. You can use it to support your body when it weakens, or to preserve food when refrigeration is no longer available. In many real situations, what keeps people going is not how much food they have, but whether they can maintain a stable state to continue. A common mistake is stockpiling salt without paying attention to the type. Regular salt and iodized salt are not the same. One supports taste, one supports the system. If you choose the wrong one, you still have salt, but not what your body needs. A small tip: if your salt has been stored for a long time or not kept sealed, treat it as regular salt and supplement iodine from other sources if possible. You can survive a few days without food, but you cannot maintain stability if your electrolytes are imbalanced. Salt does not create energy, but it determines whether you can use that energy or not. It does not make you stronger, it keeps you from collapsing. And in a real situation, sometimes what matters most is not how much you have, but whether you can maintain the rhythm to keep going. You don't collapse because you lack food. You collapse because you lack what keeps your body functioning. Pause for a moment. Look at your kitchen right now. How many things in there can you use immediately without needing anything else? At this moment, you don't need to imagine a distant scenario. Tensions between the United States and Iran have escalated to real drones and airstrikes taking place in the region. But what's notable is, most Americans don't see war that way. They don't hear explosions. They see gas prices rising, living costs increasing, and small changes starting to appear in daily life. And that is how a large conflict actually affects you. Not instantly, but gradually, through the system you depend on. And when those changes begin to happen, what matters is no longer how much food you have, but what you can actually use from it. 4. Oats, the food that works when everything stops. In many prolonged blackout situations, one thing repeats very clearly. People don't lack food. They lack something they can use immediately. When the stove doesn't work, when water is unstable, when time is gone, the normal things in your kitchen suddenly become useless. Oats are not exciting, but they are one of the very few foods that still work when the system is gone. Most people stockpile rice, pasta, familiar items, but they forget one very simple thing. Those items need water, need heat, need time. And in a real situation, you may have plenty of food, but no way to use it. In terms of shelf life, oats are not something that lasts forever, but long enough to become a foundation. With standard packaging, they last about 1 to 2 years. If stored airtight, dry, and away from heat, this can extend to 3 to 5 years. But there is one point many people overlook. Oats contain natural oils, and that is what makes them degrade over time. They don't spoil immediately, but the smell will change. The quality will gradually decline, and at some point, you won't want to eat them anymore, even when you need to. You think you have prepared enough. No. You may be degrading it faster than you think, just because of how you store it. The role of oats is not about eating to feel full, but about how they keep you stable. They release energy slowly, helping you maintain your state longer without sudden drops. They are easy to digest, placing less stress on your body in conditions of scarcity. When you don't have many options, what you need is not more, but something that helps you last longer with less. The problem begins when all you have are things that require cooking. You still have food, but you have no way to use it. And that is when you realize the mistake. It's not that you lack, It's that you chose wrong from the beginning. In many real situations, people don't collapse because of a lack of calories. They collapse because they don't have something they can eat immediately. Kitchens are still full, but unusable. And only the simplest, most independent items retain value. Storage is where many people become careless. Always keep it airtight, avoid moisture, heat, and light. If you want long-term storage, use sealed bags or containers with desiccants. One small but very important step. Freeze oats for about 48 to 72 hours before storage to eliminate insect eggs. Something you cannot see but can destroy your entire supply in just a few months. It's not that oats expire quickly. It's that you are causing them to degrade faster than you think. The way oats are used is the clearest difference. You don't need long cooking. You don't need much water. You can soak them in cold water and eat after about 15 to 30 minutes, or leave them overnight to make them easier to digest. In urgent situations, you can even eat them directly with a minimal amount of water. Not good, but it works. In a crisis, the issue is not what you have, but whether you can use it. There are families that still have plenty of food after a power outage, rice, pasta, frozen items, but they cannot cook, do not have enough water, and everything becomes useless. Meanwhile, those who have simple foods that require no preparation last longer. Not because they have more, but because they have something that works under real conditions. You think you have prepared enough, but you are depending on things that do not exist when you need them most. Rice gives you a sense of security. Oats give you the ability to survive. You don't need the best thing. You need something that still works when everything else stops. Pause for a moment. Look again at what you have in your kitchen. How many things in there can you use immediately without anything else? 3. Peanut butter. The dense energy source you are underestimating. Many people think having carbohydrates is enough. Just having rice, pasta, bread means you can get through. It sounds reasonable. But in reality, most people are stockpiling the wrong type of food, and they don't even realize it. You can eat a lot and still feel yourself getting weaker. The problem is not how much you eat, but whether your body can retain energy. This is where peanut butter becomes different. It is not a main food, not the first thing you think of, but it is one of the most energy-dense sources you can have. With just 2 small tablespoons, you get about 180 to 200 calories, along with fats and protein. What helps your body last longer, stay more stable without requiring any preparation conditions. In terms of shelf life, peanut butter usually lasts about 6 to 12 months under normal conditions. If sealed, kept away from heat and light, it can last longer. But there is one detail many people overlook. The fats inside will oxidize if you store it in a hot place or open it frequently. It does not spoil immediately, but the smell will change, the taste will be different, and the nutritional value gradually declines. You look at it and think it is still fine, but in reality, it is no longer what you think. You think you just need to eat enough. No. You may be eating enough, but still getting weaker because your body cannot retain energy. This is a very silent type of decline. You don't collapse immediately. You just feel slower, more tired, less responsive, and you don't understand why. In many real situations, people do not lack food. They lack fat. They have carbohydrates. They have calories. But the energy passes through the body too quickly. There is nothing to hold it. And that is when they start to decline without realizing it. You are not lacking food. You are lacking what helps your body retain energy. Storage is not complicated. Keep it sealed, avoid high heat, avoid direct light. No need for refrigeration if the environment is stable. But if you keep it near the stove or in a hot place, oxidation will happen faster than you think. It's not that it expires quickly. It's that you are making it degrade faster. The way peanut butter is used is what makes it different. You can eat it directly, no preparation needed. You can combine it with bread, oats, or anything you have. In situations with no time, no conditions, this is a food that still works. And with just a small amount each time, you can maintain a stable state much longer compared to eating large amounts of carbohydrates. You think you have prepared enough, but you are depending on things that do not exist when you need them most. Carbohydrates give you quick energy. Fats keep you from dropping. When you lack the second part, everything you eat is only temporary. It's not that you lack food, you lack what makes food work. You don't need to think far. Just think about tomorrow. If everything stops, what will you eat first? 2. Canned fish/canned meat, the thing that keeps your body from consuming itself. In past long expeditions, there was something many people only realized when it was too late. They did not die from a lack of food immediately. They were still eating, still had energy, but their bodies began to weaken, slow down, lose control. And the reason was not that they had nothing to eat, but that they lacked what helped the body maintain itself. That still happens, if you prepare the wrong way. Most people stockpile a lot, but miss the most important thing. Most people stockpile carbohydrates. Rice, pasta, bread, familiar, easy to buy, easy to store. But they overlook real protein. You can survive on carbs for a while, but your body cannot maintain stability without protein. Canned fish and canned meat are not the tastiest options, but they are one of the few complete protein sources that can last long and be used immediately. No cooking, no water, no conditions. In a real situation, this is not convenience. This is what still works when everything else stops. In terms of shelf life, canned fish and canned meat can usually last from 2 to 5 years, and in many cases even longer if stored properly, away from heat and moisture. But there is one detail many people overlook. Metal cans do not fail quickly, but the surrounding environment can degrade them. If you place them directly on concrete floors, moisture can cause rust from the outside over time. You see the cans still intact, but the risk has already begun. You think you have stockpiled enough. No, you may be placing it wrong from the beginning. The role of canned fish and canned meat is not about eating to feel full, but about keeping your body from breaking down. When you eat carbohydrates, you get energy. But when you have protein, you preserve your own body. This is the difference many people do not realize until it is too late. The consequences of deficiency do not come immediately, and that is the trap. You still eat. You still have energy, but your body begins to change. You grow weaker. You slow down. You lose strength without understanding why. You think you are just tired. No. Your body is starting to consume itself. After just a few days without protein, your body begins to take from your own muscles to sustain itself. This does not happen in one day. It happens little by little, and by the time you realize it, you have already lost what helps you continue. In many prolonged blackout situations, foods like canned fish are the first things that remain usable. Not because they are delicious, but because they do not require any conditions. While other items need preparation, need water, need heat, this is something you can open and use immediately. Storage is not complicated, but must be correct. Keep it in a dry place, avoid high heat. Do not place it directly on concrete floors for long periods. Check regularly to ensure the cans are not bulging, rusted, or damaged. These small details determine whether you still have a protein source or not. The way you use it is simple, and that is the advantage. You can eat it directly, no cooking, no water required. In a situation where everything needs conditions to function, this is one of the few things that still works without any conditions. You may have enough food, but without protein, you cannot preserve yourself. Carbohydrates give you energy. Protein keeps you from disappearing. You think you have prepared enough, but you are overlooking what keeps your body from collapsing from within. It's not that you lack food. You lack what keeps your body being itself. The thing you always think is the most important. Does it really help you in this situation? 1. Honey, the thing that does not disappear with time. There are things you stockpile that will expire. There are things that will spoil over time. And then there is one thing that barely changes, no matter how much time passes. Honey has been found in ancient tombs thousands of years old, and it was still usable. No mold, no spoilage, no degradation in the way you think about food. And what is notable is, this is not just something to eat. Most people have honey at home, but do not know how to use it when it matters most. Honey is one of the very few things that is both food and a tool to support the body in situations where you have no other options. It provides fast energy, easy to absorb because the sugars in honey are in simple form. Your body does not need much processing, does not need time to convert it. When you are exhausted, your energy drops, your hands begin to shake, your mind slows down. Just a small amount is enough to pull you back faster than you think. But what is notable is, that effect does not last forever. It is like a push. It helps you stand back up when you are falling. And in a real situation, sometimes that alone is enough to keep you going. But that is only part of it. In many periods when medicine was unavailable, honey was used as a natural antibacterial agent. Not because it is perfect, but because when nothing else was available, it still had function. There were wounds that were cleaned and covered with honey when antiseptics were not available. In many communities far from hospitals or during times of medical shortage, people have used honey as a temporary covering for small wounds to keep the area cleaner and reduce further contamination. It does not fully replace modern medicine, but when there are no other options, it is one of the few things that still has practical value. You don't need to believe it is good. You just need to understand. It still works when other things no longer do. You think this is just food. No. This is something that can replace many other things when the system is gone. In terms of shelf life, honey almost has no concept of expiration if stored properly. It can change state over time, thicken, crystallize. But that is not spoilage. That is a natural state caused by changes in sugar structure. You just need to gently warm it, and it returns to its original form. But there is a very common mistake. Many people store honey in the refrigerator. That does not make it better. It makes it crystallize faster, harden, and become harder to use when you need it most. Honey does not need cold. It needs stability. And here is something many people overlook. Honey does not spoil because of time. It spoils because of water. Just a small amount of moisture getting in. From a wet spoon, from the air. And honey can begin to ferment. You still see it there. But it is no longer what you think. You think you have prepared enough. No. You may be ruining the most stable thing, just because of a very small detail. Proper storage is simple but must be precise. Keep it sealed, avoid moisture, prevent water from getting in, and store it in a dry place with stable temperature. No need for cold. No need for complexity. Just correct. The way honey is used is what makes it completely different. You can consume it directly. No preparation needed. You can mix it with water to create quick energy. You can use it when your body is weakened, when you need recovery without waiting. And in certain situations, you can use it as a temporary protective layer for small injuries. There are moments when everything else no longer works. No electricity, no stove, no medicine. And that is when you realize what you need is not more, but what remains when everything else disappears. You may lose your food supply. You may lose the system. But if you still have this, you still have a way to bring your body back to a functioning state. You don't need the best thing. You need something that does not disappear over time. When everything else fails, this is what remains. If you had to keep just one thing in your kitchen, what would you choose? You can see, everything on this list is very simple, not rare, not expensive, and not what people usually think of first. But when things actually happen, you won't need something complex. You will need something that works. You don't collapse because you lack food. You collapse because you have things you cannot use, or you lack what your body truly needs at the most critical moment. And what's notable is, most people only realize that when it is already too late. You don't need to stockpile more. You need to stockpile smarter. And in the next video, I will show you 12 grocery items you should buy before April 1st, 2026, before things start to change more clearly. Look again at what you have in your home right now. If everything stopped tomorrow, how much of it could you actually use? Leave a comment. The one thing you always keep at home, and the one thing you thought you had prepared enough of but actually haven't. Because sometimes your answer can help someone else realize it before they have to go through it themselves.